Last time we saw a very sage advice from the Supreme himself to Savitri. He had posed a fundamental difficulty, a contradiction which is there inherent between earth and heaven. Savitri was looking for the possibility of heaven being brought down to earth. And according to him, this is not possible. They are totally different things. She is trying something which cannot happen. And therefore, she had only two things to do. Either she goes back and carry on the work she is supposed to do there, or forget about earth and come and stay here in heaven. Cast off the ambiguous myth of earth's desire, O immortal, to felicity, arise, come and enjoy the bliss of heaven here. The change of earth is a myth. It cannot be true. Not only is a myth, it is an ambiguous myth. It may happen, it may not happen. We don't know at all, basically. So she was told, well, we may say in a very sagacious manner, or you may say in a very clever manner, in a very smart way, that what Savitri is trying to do is not in the nature of things, and therefore she should give up all her attempts. And what she can best do is, she is an immortal. She had taken immortal birth. But she has a choice of rising back to her felicity, to her immortality. So that the option is there. In a way of speaking, this is not really an option for Savitri. It is not really an option for Savitri. You forget about her and come here. She can do that thing at any moment. She doesn't need an offer from somebody for that, you see. She is firm in her conviction, in her faith, in her ideas, that she has a work to do upon earth, and all that she can say is that, look, okay, if you can give me some help, give me. Otherwise, I will do what I have to do. Please let me know what help you can give. I am not interested. I can always go back and live there. It's my natural home. It is my native place. It is my what we call in Marathi Maher. Maher is a very, very sweet word in Marathi. It is the word of a bride's parents' house. I can always go to my parents' house and live there, be happy there. You see, no question about that. If I am not happy in my husband's house, I can always live and go back and stay in my parents' house, my. So the supreme house is my house. I can always go there and live there, you see. So that is what she is going to tell. Now, before we proceed a little further, well, that is why she says here in her response, O besetter of man's soul. She uses the word, a very strong word, besetter. Besetter, who assails from every side. Who assails from every side, you see. What sides? from life and death, from pleasure and pain, from day and night. He is assailing from all sides, from all the aspects of life and death, of pleasure and pain, of day and night. In a way, these are kind of synonyms, yet there is a specificity of each pair, life and death, and pleasure and pain, and day and night, tempting his heart with the far lure of heaven. His heart, man's. Man. You are tempting man's heart with a far heaven, lure of, testing his strength with a close touch of hell. I climb not to thy everlasting day, even as I have shunned thy eternal night. She had disposed of night, eternal night. And now she says, I don't care about that everlasting day. If that everlasting day has no meaning for the earth. Okay, now before we proceed further, let me quickly check a couple of things which we had done earlier. See, we saw the fourfold being earlier. Fourfold being. In him, the fourfold being bore its crown that bear the mystery of a nameless name. The universe writing its tremendous sense in the inexhaustible meaning of a word. Now, this fourfold being, we have seen in some context, in some detail about this one, but there are a couple of points which we can add to what we discussed last time earlier about this fourfold being. Of course, the basis of this fourfold being we are seeing in terms of the four personalities, Virat, Hiranyagarbha, Prajnana-ghana, and Anandamaya. The universal, the inward looking, the outward looking, you ask all those four aspects of this thing. Now, the question is, who is this being? This is a being who is in fact one aspect of Satchitananda. Which aspect? The aspect of being. Being corresponding to Sat. Not consciousness, not to Ananda, but to being, of existence. So this is actually the aspect of pure existence. If you want to use the metaphysical term, then this is an aspect of pure existence, pure Sat, which is being now presented here in this fourfold being. The aspect of pure existence, truth aspect. Of course, it is a part of Satchitananda, but the aspect corresponding to Sat of Satchitananda. That is this fourfold being. And the four grades of this being are Virat, Hiranyagarbha, Prajnana-ghana, and Anandamaya. Now, in fact, this is what we have from the Mandukya Upanishad. This fourfold being we saw last time, that actually we have these terms, Virat, Hiranyagarbha, etc., from the Mandukya Upanishad, basically. Now, behind everything is the supreme manifestation, which is described by Om. Supreme manifestation. Imperishable word, Om. And then it is that which has become the universe. This is a verse from Mandukya Upanishad. Om is this imperishable word. Om is the universe. And this is the exposition of Om, the past, the present, and the future. All that was, all that is, all that will be is Om. Likewise, all else that may exist beyond the bound of time, that too is Om. What is in time? All that was, all that is, all that will be, that is in time. And all that is beyond time, that too is Om. All this universe is the eternal Brahman. This self is eternal, and the self is fourfold. The self is fourfold. It is this phrase which corresponds to the fourfold being of Savitri. This self is fourfold. Now, what is this self? This self is Atman. Atman, all pervasive Atman. And he is fourfold, Atman. Or in the terminology of life divine, it is pure existence. This self. This self is fourfold. It means that this Atman is fourfold. And the four aspects of this Atman are, we have seen already. The first is Vaishvanara, or what we call here Virat. The second is Tejasa, or what is called Hiranyagarbha. The third is wisdom, or Prajna. That is Prajnanagana, as we call it. The Lord of wisdom is the third. And the fourth is beyond all knowledge and knowing and all that. Who is neither inward wise nor outward wise. Inward wise, that is Tejasa or Hiranyagarbha. Outward wise, that is Virat or Vaishvanara. Nor both inward and outward wise, nor wisdom self-gathered, nor possessed of wisdom, nor unpossessed of wisdom. See, he is putting all. He who is unseen and incommunicable, unseizable, featureless, unthinkable, the unnameable. That is the fourth aspect of it. What we are calling as Anandamaya. Existence, unnameable, whose essentiality is awareness of the self in a single existence. The aspect of existence, in whom all phenomena dissolve, who is calm, who is good, who is the one than whom there is no other. Him they deem the fourth. He is this self. He is the Atman, pure existence, you see. Such is the correspondence between the Upanishadic Pradhyana wisdom and Sushupti sleep, between Hiranyagarbha Tejasa and Swapna dream, between Virat Vishwanara. See, they are kind of equivalents. In different contexts, you use different things. Pradhyana is wisdom, or in terminology of Sri Aurobindo, you can call them Pradhyana stands for essentially an aspect of supermind. Sushupti, deep sleep, that is Pradhyana. Between Hiranyagarbha, that is the golden womb, Swapna, dream, and the waking consciousness, Virat, that is the waking consciousness. So, this fourfold being which we have been talking here is in fact an aspect of Satchidananda as pure existence. Consciousness force, Ananda part of it, that is not described in this description. Then we see last time, two looked upon each other, soul saw soul. that Godhead and Savitri, they are looking into each other. He seemed the burning, he seemed the wideness of a boundless sky, he seemed the passion of a sorrowless earth, he seemed the burning of a worldwide sun, covering all the realms of existence, sky, earth, sun, in between. And it is, as I said earlier also, he seemed, well, that is the way you are saying, it means that he really saw, he was so. He was really so. But still, he seemed, because he is much more than this. He is much more than the boundless sky, he is much more than the sorrowless earth, he is much more than the worldwide sun. Therefore seemed also, two looked upon each other, soul saw soul. Then the Godhead is telling Savitri, Savitri, be wise. You are trying to do something which is not in the nature of things. You don't understand the nature of earth and heaven. They are contradictory, so to say, to each other, and you can't bring them together. Essentially, that is the kind of a thrust of the argument to begin with he is making. Oh, human image of the deathless word. Word is the divine power of expression. Expression means not only uttering, of doing, activity, of action. That is what the word. Whatever is done, that is the word. Divine power of action. So actually he recognizes that this lady, this girl, is in fact the divine Shakti herself who has taken this mortal birth. Therefore she is human image. And he is kind of wondering, because you are human, although you are the image of deathless word, you are still human. And therefore the puzzle is, the wonder is how you have managed to cross this topaz wall and come here. How you have managed to come here at all. Nobody has done at all so far, this one. How hast thou seen beyond the topaz wall the gleaming sisters of the divine gate? I told you last time, this could be, this is my reading, could be the reference to Book of Job or Revelation, the city of God built up with so many stones. But the reference is very clear. Why he is talking about topaz? Topaz is a quality of supramental manifestation. The stone topaz stands for that, and is pertinently using the word topaz, not any other received. Physical transformation, it is connected with that. So if you wear a topaz stone, then you will get physical transformation quickly, you see. The gleaming sisters, those three sisters, the daughters of Job, most beautiful, of the divine gate, summoned the genii of their wakeful sleep. Summoned the genii of their wakeful sleep. Gate is there, the wall is there, and behind the wall is the topacity, the city of God. Now, at the gate, there are guardians, and these guardians always keep a wakeful eye. Even if they are asleep, their sleep is wakeful. The guardians of the gate, of the topaz wall, they are always wakeful. Now, therefore, he is wondering how you have managed to come to this gate. The guardians are there, how they allowed you to come? Summoned the genii of their wakeful God. Genii, the guardian deity of the city, the guardian power, the guardian deity of the city. And he keeps the genii, he keeps the eye always, will not allow anyone to go. Now, in ancient times, each city had a guardian deity. Athens, the guardian deity is Athena, of course. in Rome, different periods, different deities are there at various places. You summon the Jinai and ask him to build a wall, and he protects it. In Ramayana, there is a very beautiful description of this guardian deity. See, Rama's wife Sita has been abducted, and they have found that she has been taken to Lanka, and she is in the Lanka forest there. They have located her there. The great eagle could see from great distances that lady there, and he tells that, look, I see her there in Lanka. Eagle from that height. From the top of a mountain, he sees that, and he tells she is there. And the moment this was discovered, then a part of the army which was in search of Sita goes towards Lanka, to the south. And the leader of that army is, of course, Hanuman and Angada. Hanuman is given the leadership first to find out, locate where she is. And then he has to cross over the sea from India to Lanka at that point, Dhanushkoti there. But he is a person who can jump over that sea, straight like that. He jumps over there, and then he meets the wall of the city. And there is a gate there. And the guardian of the gate will not allow him to enter the city. That is the description which I have got in the Ramayana itself. Each city is protected by its corresponding deity in the ancient time. So, here Jinai of the vehicle, the divine gate Jinai of the... See, in the Sanskrit, they call it Grama Devata. Grama means village. Devata means goddess. Grama Devata. Actually, in our village also, each village in India has its own guardian deity. There will be a temple outside the village, and you cannot enter without kind of permission from that deity. Means, in order to enter the village, you need that visa permission, and see the one who grants the visa. You see, the guardian deity. You see, then only you can enter the city. You see. So this Grama Devata or guardian of the city, of the place, is traditionally there. Always. Today, of course, we build big cities and all that, and we don't keep any guardian deities. There are no guardian deities at all in modern cities, you see. And therefore, you get all kind of attacks, you see. Whether it is Tokyo or New York or London or Paris or Delhi or whatever it is, you see. There are no guardian deities of the city. We don't believe in that. But they have the power really to guard, if you really mean that, you see. We don't believe in that now, you see. So, basically, I think when you are thinking of a city, first install a guardian deity. And then only proceed further, you see. Then summon the Jinai or the wakeful sleep, and under revelations, arches, you see, he's passing through the city gate, arches of the door and all that. For the carved, thought-shrouded doors to swing apart. How you have done that? This is what he is asking. You are entering the city of God, and in the guardian deity, how the door has swung apart. Carved, thought-shrouded doors to swing apart, unlocked the avenues of spiritual sight, and taught the entries of a heavenly state to thy rapt soul that bore the golden key. So, in a way, he is kind of wondering how Savitri has managed to enter through this wall, topaz wall. And then, of course, he describes who he is, what he is, and all that, basically, you see. But this is, you see, I mean, how beautiful the whole description is. This is a kind of what you would say epic poetry, the very character of epic poetry. describe each aspect in elaborate manner. The wall is there, she is entering into the wall, and the guardians are there. So every little detail is described here. So the epic description, this is a very beautiful example of epic description. Gleaming sisters of the divine gate. So there are of course allusions of all kinds, but still the whole ethos is of the epic characters in very elaborate manner. Unlock the avenues of spiritual side. Suddenly you have opened yourself to the supramental side. How it has happened? How it has happened? And taught the entries of a heavenly state to thy rapt soul. How you have taught to your soul to enter into this one. That bore the golden key. That bore the golden key. That the soul of Savitri. It is that soul of Savitri which is bearing the golden key. How it has happened? He is wondering. And then of course he says, I am the hostage of the jealous gods. See, people are looking for me, gods are looking for me here and there and all that thing. They are jealous of me. Jealous because I am too great for them. And they are not able to approach me. And you have managed to come here and be here. How? What even the gods cannot do, that you have done. You have managed to do all that. How? Pursuing my wisdom's vast, mysterious work, seized in the thousand meeting ways of heaven. And then, of course, he says, I am the beauty, I am the ecstasy, etc., all that is. And then he says, on the pale shores of conscious foaming slaves that flow beneath a great tormented sky, two powers turn, two powers from one original ecstasy born, face near, but parted in life of man. Actually, these two powers are one in the transcendent, but in the life of man, in the mortal world, they walk apart. Earth and heaven, they walk apart. If you see from the transcendental vision, there is no division between them. But in the life of man, they look separate. Two powers from one original ecstasy, face near, but parted in the life of man. One leans to earth, the other yearns to the skies. One leans to the earth, that is heaven, leaning toward the earth. And earth, yearning heaven. These are the two things. Heaven in its rapture dreams of perfect earth. Earth in its sorrow dreams of perfect heaven. Now, if this is the thing, then Savitri is told, how can they come together? And then he said, or side by side reclined upon my wall, like bride and bridegroom magically divorced, they wake to yearn, but never can they clasp, while thinly flickering his rays uncrossed between the lovers on the nuptial couch, this shadowy eidolon of his sword, shadowy eidolon of his sword, the phantom of his sword, shadowy, dark. Now, this has no counterpart in the Indian spiritual theology. Nuptial couch and the shadowy eidolon of his sword. This essentially belongs to the Christian theology. The bride and bridegroom, of course, here is the earth and heaven. But in the Christian theology, it is Christ and the church. The divine Christ and the church, you see. Magically divorced. And between them is the eidolon, the phantom of his sword. What is the sword, phantom of his sword? Hearsay. Hearsay. Doubting, challenging the theology. Between the lovers on the nuptial couch. So if this is the case, earth and heaven, bride and groom, and there is shadow, then how can you really bring them together? That is the question, that is the kind of dilemma he is posing to Savitri. But when the phantom flame is face undone, the sword fails, undone, then never more can space or time divide the lover from the lover. Obviously, when that is gone, that eidolon of the sword or the phantom flame edge, when that has gone away, then nothing can divide, separate lover and beloved. Space shall draw back a great translucent curtain. Time shall be the quivering of the Spirit's endless bliss. When that phantom sword has gone away, attain that moment of celestial fate. So when that happens, you please attend for that. He's telling us. Look for that moment of celestial fate. Meanwhile, you wait, that will happen, the celestial moment will arrive. When the phantom sword is dissolved, is no more there, and the lover and the loved, they can meet and be together. Earth and heaven can be together. Till then you wait, that fate. Meanwhile, till then you wait. Then what do you do in the meanwhile? Meanwhile, you too shall serve the dual law. You too, Satyavan and Savitri. Dual law of this and that, which only now the scouts of vision gleam, who pressing through the forest of their thoughts have found the narrow bridges of the gods. Wait patient or the brittle bars of form, making division your delightful mean. So in the meanwhile, you make even this division a delightful means. Accept the process and work out whatever details have to be worked out. You see, of happy oneness, rapturously enhanced by attraction in a throbbing air between. Yet if thou wouldst abandon the way, so you wait for that fateful moment, celestial fate, you wait till that. Otherwise, yet if thou wouldst abandon the vexed world, but you do not wait. If you abandon this world, this anxious, this world full of anguish and all that, then no problem at all. Careless the dark moan of things below, tread down the isthmus, overleap the flood. You cross this gap between this earth and that heaven and come here and stay here. Tread down the isthmus, overleap the flood, cancel thy contract with the laboring force. This is the cruelest kind of a statement he is making for Savitri. You have made a contract with the divine force to come here, change things upon earth. But this is the position here. So forget about that kind. You come here and stay now. Cancel the contract with the laboring force. The cruelest, most negative kind of statement he is making for Savitri. Renowned tie that joins thee to earth kind. Renowned tie that joins thee to earth kind. We have seen this earth kind earlier. Let me see. 146.11. 146.11. Thus man at once is animal and God. He is in between. Therefore he is possessing the properties of both animal and God. A disparate enigma of God's mate, unable to free the Godhead from within, a being less than himself, yet something more. The aspiring animal, the frustrated God. So that's the extreme. The God is frustrated with man, but at the same time with man, the animal is aspiring. Frustrated God. Yet neither beast nor deity, but man. Well, that is the nature of man. Then here God. But man tied to the kind earth's labors tries to exceed. See, kind here, as I told you earlier, when we were reading this line, it is not, but man tied to the kind earth's labor. It's not kind earth. It is man tied to the kind, to his own character, to his mental beingness. Earth tied to the earth, man tied to his own kind. That is what that kind means, to his mental beingness. But man tied to the kind, earth's labors tries to exceed. So he is tied to the earth labor, keeps on doing whatever has to be done on the earth, and he tries to exceed this earth's labors here, climbing the stairs of God to higher things. Now here also exactly we have got earth kind. Renown the tie that joins thee to the earth kind. Here it was kind earth. This is a very difficult line to scan. But man tied to the, I would scan immediately like this. But man has one foot tied to the second foot. Kind earth, third foot. Labor, fourth foot. Strives to fifth foot. Exceed, 6 foot. It could become 6 footer. 6 footer, you see. If you scan like that. But man tied to the kind, earth labors tries to exceed. Otherwise, you can also scan, but man tied to the, second foot. Kind, earth, third foot. Means first is I am, third is dactyl, second is dactyl, third is anapes, to the kind. Then earth's labor, spondi, labor strives to short, long, short, and then to exceed short, long, short. So that in that case it becomes pentametric. Renowned the tie that joins thee to earth kind. Cast out the sympathy with mortal harm. Arise, vindicate the spirit's conquered side. You have conquered, so arise to that. Relinquish the charge of transient breath. You have taken this mortal birth. Forget about it. Come here. Under the cold gaze of indifferent stars, leaving the borrowed body on the sword. Ascend, O soul, into thy blissful home, the home of happiness. Come and stay here. Cast off the ambiguous myth of earth's desire. So basically, he's still playing a negative role. Death, who was opposing vehemently in a negative way, he is now opposing her in a positive way. It is still kind of a carryover of that death's personality into this form yet. Cast off the ambiguous myth of earth's desire. O immortal, to felicity, rise. And then Savitri says, all Savitri listening in a tranquil heart. So Savitri heard all that thing in her quiet heart all the while, you see. This young girl of hardly 20, she's see, to the harmony of the ensnaring voice. So that it's a very sweet voice of the Supreme Himself, ensnaring, but it is catching her, you see. A joy exceeding, because it is ensnaring voice, therefore it is exceeding earth and heavens pour down the bliss of an unknown eternity, a rapture from some waiting infinite. So the infinity is kind of waiting to pour itself down here, it's waiting for that. A smile came rippling out in her wide eyes. Oh, you are offering me that, you see. Her eyes, you see, the smile is coming to her eyes, you see, not to her lips. Smile came rippling out in her wide eyes. In words, the whole body, her soul is receiving that thing, and the happiness of the soul is expressed always to the eyes. The happiness is expressed to the eyes, you see. Therefore, it is through the eye that smile. This soul is smiling, happy, open to the waiting infinite bliss, and that is expressed through her eyes. See, we had the similar expression earlier. Very beautiful, very poetic also. Book of Love, 104.1. 104.1. Satyavan is making advances towards Savitri. They have met in the forest and is making advances. They have recognized each other and they are ready now to join into each other, you see. So Savitri is hearing all that things, so she is extremely happy. So happy that allured to her lashes by his passionate words. Her fathomless soul looked at him from her eyes. I mean, her eyes have become so beautiful. The eyelashes, because of this love speech of Satyavan, she has become so sweet, so beautiful, so charming that her soul from deep within is attracted towards the eyelashes. Allured to her lashes by his passionate words, her fathomless soul looked at him from her eyes. You see? Smile came rippling out in her wide eyes. Coming out, you see. His confident felicity's messenger, as if the far first beam of the morning sun rippled along two vacant lotus pools. Vacant two lotus pools. Her eyes are lotus pools. Lotus pool, that is Lochana. Rajiva is lotus. Rajiva Lochana, eyes. Ripple. You see now, as if the first beam of the morning sun rippled along two vacant lotus pools. What poetry, you see. Morning sun is there and the lotus pool is kind of stirred and the ripples are moving on the water there. With that speech of the Lord Himself in that form. See. Now, vertically, you see now, you have got ripple here. You have a ripple here also. See. Very close to each other. Rippling along two vacant lotus pools. But this line by itself is a very charming line. See how many elves are there, rippled along to vacant lotus pools. The liquidity of the line is there. See? Liquidity of the line is there. The liquid flow is there, rippled along to vacant lotus pools. Or else makes the flow very liquid, you see. So that is why, although this ripple and this ripple are very close to each other, the effect is lost. It is not there. It doesn't impede the flow, you see. O visitor of man's soul with life and death. Now, therefore, she is addressing you have been assailing man with life and death, with pleasure and pain, with day and night, and you are offering this to me. O visitor of man's soul with life and death, and the world's pleasure and pain, and day and night, tempting his heart with the far lure of heaven, testing his strength with close touch of hell. So, what are you doing? You are tempting him, you are also testing him. Tempting him with the lure of heaven. You are testing him with the touch of hell. Tempting his heart with the far lure of heaven, testing his strength with a close touch of hell. Well, In fact, that is why the hell is there. That you really acquire enough strength to overcome hell. Man has to build up that strength. Then only he can qualify himself for the divine power to come and live in him. If he doesn't have that strength, no chance. I climb not to thy everlasting day, even as I shunned the eternal night. When she met him as death, she destroyed that eternal night. She didn't succumb to that. When she is now meeting him as bright visitor, he says, I will not accept what you are offering to me. Even as I shun the eternal night. To me, who turn not from thy terrestrial way, give back the other self my nature asks. I am not going to turn away from the terrestrial way. You want me to come to heaven and live there in that happiness. I am sorry, I am not going to accept your advice. It's not compatible with me at all. I refuse to accept that. To me, who means me, turn not from thy terrestrial way. Now, what is the terrestrial way? The way of the mortal, he says way. Which is the terrestrial way? The terrestrial way is the way of psychic evolution, of growth, expansion. That is what happens here on the earth. It doesn't happen anywhere else at all. I am not going to live this way, the terrestrial way. The evolutionary path which is there, it is that which I am going to follow because it is the psychic path. And therefore I will follow that. I am not going to turn away from that terrestrial way. In heaven, it's not there, so what's the use of it for me? To me, who turn not from thy terrestrial. Now, this path, earthly path, the path of evolution, it is his. It is he who has built this path. And I am not going to leave that path. Not from thy terrestrial way. It is you who have made this path, evolutionary path. And you want me to come and stay in heaven? Wrong advice, bad advice. Ill-conceived advice. Because it is a terrestrial way, therefore I want him back. Satyavan. The fulfillment is there. That truth soul has to be here. Without that, I can't do any work. Back the other self, my nature asks, thy spaces need him not to help their joy. You're always there. Why do you want him there? He is required here. Thy spaces need him not to help their joy. Earth need his beautiful spirit made by thee to fling the light down like a net of gold. That is what the earth prophecy. Earth is the chosen place of mightiest souls. Earth is the heroic spirit's battlefield. The forge where the archmason shapes his works. The forge where the archmason shapes his works. It is here that things can happen here. Now, yes, earth is the spirit's battlefield. Earth is the chosen place. Earth is a significant center. Earth is a significant center. This is the only place where evolution is possible. Therefore, it is a chosen place. It is a significant center. And at the same time, it is a battlefield. There is a constant war, day and night, here on earth. Ratrandina Amman, Yuddhacha Prasanga. That is a line from a Marathi saint. He says, there's a constant quarrel day and night here in this world. Ratrandina means day and night. Yuddhacha of war, of quarrel. Day and night is constant there, prasanga, always there. Earth is heroic spirits, yes, but we have to battle all that. The forge where the Archmason shapes his works. Now, this Archmason, I don't know. Archmason is, in the Freemasonry, he is the highest type of Mason who does his works, no? In the Freemasonry. There are 4 types of Masons. He is the highest Mason, most qualified with signs and symbols and all that he knows. And whatever he has to build up with those stones, he builds up with that, you see. That is what the Archmason does. But I don't know, here Masonry, can that go with forge? You see. Can that go with forge? Forge normally will go with smithy, you see. Masonry is the building work, you see. The forge where the Archmason shapes his works, I can understand. We are molding and all that thing. So maybe this A stands for Supersmith. Supersmith. Hephaestus. The Greek god Hephaestus. He is the one who molds things, shapes things like that, you see. And there's a long description of how Hephaestus made the armor for Achilles in one night, and what powerful, beautiful armor he had made for him in one night. The lame god, Archmason. The forge where the Archmason shapes his work. Thy servitudes on earth are greater, King, than all the glorious liberties of heaven. I would rather be a slave here upon earth and enjoy them. They are greater than enjoying the freedom in heaven. She is addressing his king. The heavens were once to me my natural home. I too have wandered in star-jeweled groves, paced sun gold pastures and moon silver sward, and heard the harpings, laughter of the stream, and lingered under branches dropping mire. I too have revelled in the flames of light, touched by the ethereal remnant of the wind, the wonder rounds of music I had trod, lived in the rhyme of delight, unlaboring thought. I have been swift harmonies of rapturous warmth, dance in spontaneous measures of the soul, the great and easy dances of the God. So there it is easy to dance, but here upon earth, it's not easy to dance at all. Now, branches dropping mahir. Now, of course, this mahir has a reference to the 3 Magi who gave presents to baby Christ when he was born, you see. Frankincense, myrrh, and gold. No. Gold, of course, stands for supramental light. Mother has explained the significance of mahir and frankincense, but I am forgetting that. I will have to find out and tell. She says something about what those three presents which were brought by those sages mean. So she is, of course, gold is straightforward, it is supramental light which they brought for him as a baby child. Mahir and Frankinson, she has explained that, but I am now forgetting. You have to find out, you see. So I have seen that happening here. What is the joy? What is great about it? I am not interested in that. So it's not really new to me at all. Don't tempt me with those things. See. Oh, fragrant the lanes, thy children walk, and lovely the memory of their feet amid the wonderful flowers of paradise. A heavier tread is mine, a mightier touch. Yes, because I had chosen earth. Therefore, my tread is heavier, and at the same time, it is mightier. These children who are walking there, their feet, they're light, floating. See, here I stamp my foot everywhere. There, where the gods and demons battle in night, or wrestle on the borders of the sun, taught by the sweetness and the pain of life to bear the uneven, strenuous beat and throbs. Again, the edge of some divinest hope to dare the impossible with these pangs of soul. In me, the spirit of immortal love stretches its arm out to embrace mankind. She is insisting upon that. All that thing is for this man. Does he deserve all? Does he deserve all that, you see? He is a very cruel person. He is a terrorist. He keeps on attacking. He keeps on saying all false things. And she is coming here and offering that thing. Stretches his arms out to embrace mankind. Too far the heavens for me from suffering men. It's a fact of life. Imperfect is a joy not shared by all. Imperfect. So she says that, yes, there may be joy in heaven, full of joy everywhere. Happy, business, ecstasy, whatever you want to call it, is there. But sorry, it is imperfect. Because it cannot be shared. You go there and enjoy, all right, but it cannot be shared here. So when the joy will be established upon earth, it will be shared by all. It will be more perfect than the joy which is there in heaven. So we have got great hopes, you see. Great possibilities are there. Imperfect is the joy not shared by all. Oh, to spread forth. Oh, to encircle, see. More has still love in us has filled thy world. Unfortunately, your present world is not filled. But that joy here on earth will fill everything. And that will be more perfect than the joy in heaven. The sign of joy on earth is that it can expand, grow in every direction. It does not remain confined, trapped. It is not typal joy. Typal joy means it does not grow. It belongs to its own species, kind, fixed. Whereas the possibility of joy on earth can really multiply in 1,000 directions. So that is the beauty for which Savitri is striving. I want that joy. That is the true perfection. The perfection which can grow and expand. So gods may be perfect, but they are not really truly perfect, you see. They are frozen. Oh life, the life beneath the wailing stars for victory in the tournament with death, for bending of the fierce and difficult to bow, for flashing with the splendid sword of God. It is that I want to flash out. For victory in the tournament with death. Yes, it is for that the life is here. For bending the fierce and difficult to bow. That is the bow of Shiva, which cannot be bent. Difficult to bow. In Ramayana, there is a story. In fact, that is how it started. You see, Sita has come of age, and she has to be given in marriage. So they invite all noble princes, and they have to show their valor. And the one who is the most valiant, it is to him she would choose. So the whole assembly is there now, and Dasharatha, Sita's father, he commands his people to bring that bow, Shiva's bow, in the center of the assembly hall there. By the way, Sita, even as a girl, could play with that bow, easily wield that bow with a strength and might. Such was her character that she could handle that bow with ease, Sita herself. So that bow is brought there, and one after the other, the noble kings and princes come and try to put the arrow on the bow, you see. And of course, Ravana was also there to claim the hand of Sita. The moment he starts lifting the bow, he collapses and falls down. And then later on, of course, Rama comes and with utmost ease he lifts the bow and puts the arrow on the bow, you see. And then, of course, Sita offers herself to him as the bride, you see. So that is the beginning also of revenge of Ravana against Rama. That he is defeated at that point. So he feels extremely jealous of him and all that, and he wants to take the full revenge at some moment of time or not. And later on, the abduction, the story begins, you see. So that bow, Shiva's bow, it was the bow which was offered, gifted to Dasharatha by Shiva himself, you see. For bending the fierce and difficult bow, for flashing the splendid sword of God. O thou who sounded the trumpet in the list, who? It is he who sounded the trumpet in the list arena of battlefield, of wrestling ground. So you sound a trumpet and then the wrestling starts or whatever you see. In fact, that is what happens in the Roman arenas, no? You sound it. O thou who sounded the trumpet in the list, part not the handle from the untried steel, take not the warrior with his blow unstruck. You want to take him away, he has not even struck the blow. How can it be? Are there not still a million fights to wage? We have to keep on fighting here still. And you want to take him away? And you want me also to go away? What happens then here? There is a work still to be done. Are there not still a million fights to wage? Now, this may look a little puzzling. If Savitri has conquered death, then what are the battles there? What are the battles then here? Million fights still to wage, you see. But the whole process is such that it is out of inconscience things had to grow. And the inconscient too is infinite. The more you dig into it, the more of it comes out. In other words, all the possibilities which are locked in the inconscient, they have to emerge. They cannot emerge unless they are fought out. Let us see that. 83.14. 83.14. We will do that thing later on when we come to that book, but we have a very similar thing here. Ashwapati is in the house of the spirit. All seem to have perished that was undivine. He says, all seem to have perished that was undivine. Yet some minutest dissident might escape. And still a center lurk of the blind force. For the inconscient too is infinite. After all, it is God's creation, so it has all the qualities of infinity. The inconscient too is infinite. The more its abysses we insist to sound, the more it stretches endlessly. Are there not still a million fights to wage because inconscience is still there? O King Smith, clang on still thy toil begun. Weld us to one in the strong smithy of life. Now she is going back to the simile of smithy. Forge, what we saw here, no earlier. Forge. Archmason. Forged archmason. O King Smith, clang on still thy toil begun. Weld us to one in the strong smithy of life, in the smithy of life. Let us join together, Satyavan and Savitri. Thy fine curved jeweled hill call Savitri. See thee, Savitri. Thy blades exultant smile, name Satyavan. So she says that these two, Satyavan and Savitri, they had to be always together, weld us together. Don't separate them away that he's there and I'm here. Thy fine curved jewel hilt called Savitri. So this sword is there, the hilt is there, it is jewel sword. You call this as Savitri. And the sword, which is like a smile on the lips, Satyavan. They have to be together, they can't be separated. You can't have only the blade and the hilt as separate thing. They have to be always together. Therefore, weld. The fine could well he called Savitri, thy blades exultant smile, name Satyavan. Fashion to beauty, point us to the world. Break not the lyre before the song is found. Are there not still unnumbered chants to wave? O subtle soul, musician of the years, play out what thou hast fluted on my stops. My flute is there, and I put different stops on the flute. Play out what you kept stopped. Play out what thou hast fluted on my stop. Arise from the strain, the first wild plenty divine, and that discover which is yet unsung. So I am there to battle, I am there to play music. What was not played, what stops were not used, use them now. I know that I can lift man's soul to God. I know that he can bring the immortal down. I know that I can lift man's soul to God. I know that He can bring the immortal down. Because they are together. I, of course, stands for Savitri. He stands for Him, Satyavan. I know that He can bring the immortal down. It is for that purpose I want Him. It's very beautiful line. I know that I can lift a man's soul to God. Absolutely monosyllabic. Whole line. I know that I can lift man's soul to God. So here we have got an I am, then that I, another I am, can lift, third I am, man's soul, spondee, to God. So man's soul, spondee, is acquired the full force to God. I can lift his soul to God. I can do that. So why you need both Satyavan and Savitri? One aspect is to lift man. The other aspect to bring down the immortal. I cannot do that, I cannot do that. He cannot do this. Therefore, both are required. You can't take him away like that. I need him for that purpose. I know that I can lift man's soul to God. I know that he can bring the mortal down. Our will labors permitted by thy will, and without thee an empty road of storm, a senseless whirlwind is a Titan's foe, and without thee a snare for the strength of God. Now all that thing can happen if it is thy will. So she is supplicating him also. Look, you had to sanction that we have to be together. Our will labors permitted by thy will. We cannot work ourselves, our will cannot work unless it is your will. So you have to grant that thing. You have to. And without thee, an empty road, if it's not there, and without thee, a snare, etc., etc. So this is important. Our will is there, can become functional, can produce results if it is permitted by his will. So she is supplicating, let not inconstant girl swallow man's race. Now, in other words, unless these two things happen, lifting man and bringing the mortal down, unless these two things happen, nothing will happen. If these things don't happen, it means that the inconscient will swallow man's race. If those two things do not happen simultaneously, the inconscient will swallow man. So the battle is there constantly. That through worst ignorance struggles towards the light. O thunderer, with the lightning of the soul, give not to darkness and to death thy son. Give not to darkness and to death thy son. Don't give your light to darkness. Don't give your life to death. If they live because of you, then the purpose is lost. Achieved the wisdom's hidden firm decree and the mandate of the secret worldwide love. That is the mandate of the secret worldwide love. It is that we should be there. Her words fail, lost in thoughts immensity. We seem them at the limits of their cry, and hid their meaning in the distances that stir to more than ever speech has won. That stir to more than ever the speech has won. So what she uttered is something which the speech cannot win, something more than that. Some other kind of an occult force has come in that speech of hers. the soul force of Savitri, it is that which is speaking out there, see, more than word. From the unthinkable, that stirred to more than ever speech is one, from the unthinkable and all of our thought and the ineffable from whom all words come. So they have come directly from the ineffable, from the unthinkable. They come directly from the unthinkable. In fact, they come directly from the unknowable. They come directly from the unknowable. From the Supreme Himself, who cannot be described, who cannot be known at all. Savitri is His daughter. The divine Savitri is the daughter of that unknowable. And it is from that place that her words have come. They have to come from that only. If they had to answer the besetter from not any other source. Unless they come from the unknowable, they will not have any impact on the besetter. But this besetter is still insistent upon his own argument. Well, I mean, why this tension? What kind of God is he? Is it not so? One could understand to some extent death arguing that. But why this benign God arguing against what should happen really? Savitri is insisting all these beautiful things to happen here, and this man is kind of discouraging her. What kind of God is he, you see? But this besetting is important in the occult sense. Besetting is important in the occult sense. Not that he does not understand what should happen, yet he has kind of taken a stand that he must oppose. Is it to test Savitri? In fact, for him, what is there to test Savitri? He can always dismiss Savitri. If he is such a supreme, he can always dismiss Savitri. Then why is he taking that kind of a stand? The occult possibility is that unless you insist certain things to happen, they will not happen, they will not be given, they will not be granted. You have to ask, you have to demand, you have to insist upon them. In other words, you have to prepare yourself strongly enough to receive what will be given. They are not given like freebies, like gifts. They cannot be given. You have to qualify yourself to have them. You have to qualify yourself to have them. Therefore, he is in a way making Savitri do that. He is not discouraging her, he is rather raising her that she must demand those things so that the strength is there to receive those gifts. Pardon me? Yeah, that is required. Nothing is given free. There is no free lunch. You have to ask for that. Therefore, this kind of a dialogue. And therefore, how shall earth nature and man's nature rise to the celestial levels and yet earth abide? See, if they are contradictory, earth nature and celestial nature, then how can they be together and yet earth be there? You want heaven to come here on earth and yet remain earth. So Savitri has to demand that. Savitri has to work out that possibility, you see. That is the whole idea.